Linda Sorcy, Finance Director.
Jennifer Gossick, City Clerk.
Jeff Benscover, Alderman.
Dennis Pollock, Alderman.
Tyler Mickelson, IT.
Kevin Fangman, Citizen.
Matt Zacher, Mayor.
And Jay Catnoff, Chairperson.
Packet.
Alright, item 2, consider for approval the acceptance of a Legacy Foundation of Central Wisconsin grant in the amount of $360,000 for the municipal zoo, and approval to proceed with bids for improvements to the municipal zoo, including a river otter exhibit, ADA compliant playground equipment, and insulating Helen's house to make it suitable for year-round activities.
Okay, I'll handle that one. If you recall, in February, this committee and ultimately the council approved applying for this grant from the Legacy Foundation for obviously the things you just stated, the river otter exhibit, the playground equipment, and Helen's house. We received word that we were awarded the grant in $360,000. So the agenda item is just formally accepting that grant and to proceed with the project. The funding for it is obviously $360,000 from the Legacy. 187,250 comes from the Teskey funds, and those were funds that were bequeathed to us for improvements at the zoo, and the residual 35,750 will come from the park outlay.
I did see we had a sign out there all summer saying river otter exhibit coming soon. Dean, you're on the Parks Commission, you got any other info?
No, I think it's a great project. It's really no taxpayer dollars if you consider park outlay no taxpayer dollars, so I would move to approve.
I will second it.
Alright, we have a motion by Veneman, second by Pollock. All those in favor, vote in the affirmative.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Item 3, consider for approval upgrading Wisconsin Rapids Community and Media Public Access channel equipment, including upgrades necessary to make Wisconsin Rapids Community Media accessible and ADA compliant.
Good evening, Finance Committee members, Mayor Zacher, City staff. Appreciate your time. I've got the next 3 items, I believe. The first one being a quote for upgrading our equipment, running fiber to our equipment at WRCM to allow us to continue broadcasting on Spectrum. This is both for ADA compliance reasons and for we just won't be able to broadcast there at some point if we continue with our old equipment. So kind of a requirement if we want to continue to broadcast on Spectrum. I should have worded my referral a little bit better. This is a Spectrum only. We are also broadcasting on Solaris, but that equipment is fine. So we're fine on that end. And in order to continue to collect our cable fees, from Spectrum, we need to broadcast on that channel. So, like I said, it's kind of a requirement.
So we collect cable fees from Spectrum, similar to how any channel package would go.
Yeah, well, so
So
yeah,
you pay for you pay for your channels,
right?
But
Well,
then they package it together and sell it, and we're part of that package.
it's a little different. So they take a certain amount out, like it's a subcharge for paid channels for ours. So yeah, so every bill will have a detailed breakout of that. There's a small surcharge for channel our paid channel.
Okay. So it's not about the fiber, which we have through Solaris.
Right.
It's about broadcasting directly to Spectrum.
Yep.
That was about my question
Yep.
in the email.
Yep. And then we would be using funds out of our reserves for WRCM. That's kind of what the intention, I think, for those reserves to have for equipment like this and upgrade the studio equipment, which is next. So, any questions?
only comment I would make is that I would say go ahead with it. I mean, if you're gonna have the equipment and you're having trouble with the old stuff, it'd be maybe to get something new. It's just the world we live in now.
Yep. And it's a matter of also being able to, you know, to broadcast on it. We're not
Exactly.
necessarily having problems with it right now, but, they will at some point discontinue the ability to just broadcast with the equipment that we have, so. And then also the ADA part of it, we're not able to do like closed captioning and stuff like that. It's a requirement now. So it's just a good, overall good thing to do, currently, so.
I'd just say while we're talking about, WRCM, whether it's on Spectrum or the Roku app, I've tuned in a few times. These meetings are broadcasted on there, and there's also a lot of, other interesting programming, so whatever we gotta do to continue it, I believe there's people out there watching it, and I think it's important, especially to get these meetings and other meetings, available to community members. So with that, I'll make a motion to approve upgrading Johnson Rapids Community Media Public Access Channel equipment.
I'll second it.
Motion by Katnos, second by Veneman. All those in favor, vote in the affirmative.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Item 4, consider for approval upgrading studio equipment for Wisconsin Rapids Community Media.
Thank you. Again, so this is kind of a something that we've been working on with Mayor Zacher in order to update our equipment or update our studio for kind of a more current look and feel. The studio hasn't seen an update in probably about 10 years, maybe a little more. It feels that way. So, you know, there is a kind of an aged look to it. This will kind of give us a more professional and a better ability to have podcasts, to have local programming within our studio at WRCM. So that's what this quote is for. Again, we'd be using money out of reserves. This would be something normally that we budget for, but in talking with Mayor Zacher, we kind of wanted to escalate the timeline. So that's what this quote is for. Again, the money's in reserves. Yep, and then some of this quote is actually equipment that goes to Marshfield, so we will be billing them for that. We will be saving on shipping that way, so it's kind of beneficial for both entities to kind of combine our orders and save on the shipping element. Did I mistake the price in the proposal?
If it's the Uniset on the back page, it has a total of $17,230. Yep.
Yep, and that's what I believe that was referral as well.
Be interesting to see a before and after.
We can certainly give you pictures, yeah, absolutely.
What's in there?
We've got everything set up right now for, discussion that Mayor Zacher is going to have, with, upcoming, what is that?
To be determined.
Oh, potentially, yeah.
To be determined.
We do have it set up though, so we'll do some before and after. It kinda looks good right now, but yeah, we'll certainly, provide those as soon as we get all the equipment in and strip out the old stuff, so.
So do we have maybe I missed something, do we have a dollar amount on the Marshfield portion, the C-Tubs?
Yeah, I thought I did have that. Let me just see. The Unipro C-Tops, so that is. There's 2 of them, so that's $365, totaling at $730.
7:30?
Yep.
So 7:30 from 17:30 would be 16. $500.50 is our portion, right?
Let me do I can't do that in my head.
Yeah, I did.
real quick,
Come
yeah.
on, man.
Yeah.
But
I don't trust myself enough, at least.
Why didn't you have computers when I was growing up like you?
Hey, you know,
Yeah.
my teacher always said we wanna have these in our pocket all the time, but we certainly do.
Gotta carry them on
Yeah. 16,550 cents.
Yep. Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the referral for upgrading the studio equipment. Total amount is $17,250, but $730 of that is being reimbursed, as we're doing a shared project with Marshfield to save on shipping. And so a total amount of $16,500.50.
I'll second the motion.
Alright, motion by Veneman, second by Pollock. All those in favor, vote in the affirmative.
Aye.
May I ask for you to repeat the amount, is 17,000?
$17,230.50.
Okay, thank you.
And then we deduct $730 of that.
Yep.
To come out with 16,500.
Yep, got it, thank you.
So that motion passes 3-0. Item 5, consider for approval a resolution of support for the city's application for funding from the Railroad Crossing Elimination Grant Program.
As part of it, last council meeting, I do believe we approved applying for this grant, and as part of the grant application, they would like a letter or resolution showing that the city's committed to their 20% match on the grant. So this resolution is basically saying that, the city's committed to their 20% grant, which is probably a maximum of $120,000. It should be noted that the relocation of the rail track is in our downtown TIF as an identified project, so the funding for that could come out of that TID for our match.
What about future funding?
Well, for the relocation of the track out of the
It'll be
TID?
20% all the way through the project, correct?
Well, this is just for the planning grant.
Right, but going forward.
If we apply for.
You're not gonna plan for something you're not eventually hoping to do.
Right, and then, as far as funding out of the TID, are you talking, or?
Yeah, 20% out now, 20% in the future. I mean, how much can the TID cover?
Well, the TID will its expenditure period ends in 2027, so depending on the timing of the project. But with the other projects going on there, that being the bridge lighting and the proposed river wall maintenance, there probably wouldn't be too much money left in that, depending on the timing. I think we have, right now, we're projecting out to be about $3 million in the TID. So there might be $2 million to contribute to the project if it occurs by the end of 2027.
So they have to be allocated by when?
Well, it has to be spent by 2027,
2027,
because that's the end of the expenditure period. So after that, you cannot expend any more dollars
Okay,
on that.
but it does have to be allocated by a certain time, right? Or no?
No,
No? Okay.
no, just, 2020, it just has to be.
2027,
Yeah,
so,
any
okay.
TID eligible expenditures have to be incurred and paid by the end of 2027.
Got it.
Tim, what's our ability to create a new TID around this project or the down, I know it's an area, so this area?
Right, I mean, we can open up a TID anywhere, but, the big thing is that the way the TID works is that when you establish it, all the values in that TID is called your base value, so you don't get to collect any increment on that base value. It's only new growth that occurs in that TID. So depending on what the boundaries of the TID are and what types of development happen in there, it's hard to speculate, but, it's only on the new growth, once you establish the TID, that you're able to capture that increment to pay for project costs.
Well, I'd assume if we're relocating tracks out of the city, there might be some new growth, so I don't know the specifics, but
Mhm.
maybe that's something to look into, is the creation of a new TID.
You mean surrounding that area that we're looking to help improve?
Whatever's most effective, you know, not being the expert on the tax incremental districts,
Mhm.
that, I wouldn't say specifically where, but I would assume that would be the idea. Especially in an area where perhaps the tracks come out and there is lots of opportunity for development, which
Mhm.
sounds like it would be the most beneficial.
Right.
But again, you know, I'd leave that up to.
I think that is it, you know, once we obviously have this planning grant and things as we proceed and look at different funding sources, that all those will be explored.
Some updates on the grant itself. We're moving along as fast as we can. Joe is on vacation for 2 weeks, but before he left and while he's on vacation, he's been keeping touch and keeping everybody appraised as best as he can. We did just get the state WIS DOT letter of support today. That was a big one, and from there we're working on getting CN's letter through them, or the other railroad operations company. We're looking at both of those. I just came back from talking with Port Edwards and Seneca to kind of get their input. We're meeting with county in the morning to get their input. Everybody's certainly in favor of having the conversation, knowing they're not committing anything, and we're not making any hard decisions right now until the planning phases start. So I think everything's looking up in terms of getting the pieces together to be able to submit that on the 23rd.
Who are you meeting with at the county? You said you're meeting at the county?
Yes, I am. Do you want me to look up? It's a few different
Well,
people
no,
that are gonna be there.
I'm just curious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can let you know where we're gonna be if you wanna
Yeah.
join us.
Well, there's a highway meeting going on tomorrow about 8 o'clock.
I think that's the meeting we're gonna be talking
Yeah,
about this
yeah,
at
the highway
8 o'clock.
department.
Yep.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, see you there.
Yep.
Alright.
I would just note, I've heard some confusion on this, and this is an application for a grant to possibly do this project, so nothing's cemented or for sure yet. As I heard that, you know, once you start talking about it, people catch wind of it, there's an assumption that project's gonna happen, and this is an application for a grant, just to start looking at the planning.
Yes.
I'll move to approve the application.
I'll second it.
The resolution.
Oh, resolution, I'm sorry. Resolution of support for the application.
We have a motion by Veneman, second by Pollock. All those in favor,
Aye.
vote in the affirmative.
Aye.
Those opposed, myself nay. So motion passes 2-1. Item 6, consider for approval budget amendment number 2.
Okay, this is our second budget amendment for the 2024 budget. I'll just walk through a couple of the things that encompass the amendment. The first one is if you recall, when we renewed our health insurance, we saw an increase in premiums. So kind of went through and analyzed the accounts and making adjustments for that increased premium for the operating accounts. Not all the budgets had to be adjusted because they might have had changes throughout the year that kind of offset what the 11.37% increase in the premium would be. One of the major items on here is when we adopted the budget back in November, the street construction projects that were going to be funded with ARPA were budgeted in the Public Works Construction Fund. And basically what I'm doing is I'm removing those projects from the Public Works Construction Fund budget and put it into the ARPA fund budget where the ARPA funds are held. So it's just kind of a bookkeeping thing. But it should be noted that the Lincoln Street project is running over budget for a variety of reasons. One is that when the original project budget for that was done, our design wasn't completed at that time. If you recall, we had a lot of real estate acquisitions, which required a lot of staff time that wasn't anticipated when when the budget was originally created for the Lincoln Street project. And also our bid prices for both asphalt and concrete came in significantly higher for Lincoln Street. I think we had an estimated $220,000 for asphalt, and then the bids came in at $284,000. And then for the concrete bid was $247,900 in the budget, but those bids actually came in at $389,548, so which increased the project cost for that. On the good side is in April of this year, we found out that we were awarded a LRIP grant for that project, so in the amount of $234,000, so that's helped offsetting some of those cost overruns. And the grants and donations funds, these are just revenues and donations that we get in from a variety of sources, like the K-9 program. So we're just recognize that revenue and appropriate it over into the K-9 expenditure account, and those funds are held for when we get a new K-9 dog, we have the funds available to help fund that. And then we get various like city zoo donations and dog park donations, and those are earmarked for those, for like the zoo. We earmark those donations and feed money for maintenance and improvements at the zoo and the dog park. We get some donation, those are usually go to help replace supplies over there. The Public Works Construction Fund, that's just the opposite side of taking those projects out of the Public Works Construction Fund and putting in the ARPA fund project for those three projects. And then Tax Renewal District number 7 is just adjusting the budget for the bridge lighting project that was approved by council and the downtown planning project that was approved there, and then recognizing that we did get a Wood County Economic Development Grant to help pay for a portion of that planning. So that's recognizing that. So if you have any specific questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I don't know if you'd be the person to ask, but is there an update on the bridge lighting? Or is that We Energies working on the bridge?
I don't have any updates.
That's We Energy's working on the bridge, they're replacing their main line
Yeah,
coming
that's-
through, and it's
yeah.
taking a little longer than they thought. But I think the scaffolding will be down by maybe tomorrow, they were thinking, but, yeah.
I just walked the bridge, there's 2 pieces of scaffolding left, so.
Okay. Yeah, they're a little worried about it for the car show this weekend, but it worked out fine, people figured it out, yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I move for the approval of this budget amendment.
Motion by Pollock,
I'll second.
second by Veneman. All those in favor vote in the affirmative.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Item 7, audit of the bills.
This is for check number 22765 to 23180 in the amount of $7,051,127.86. Any questions?
27.87, great, thank you.
86.
86, got it, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I make the motion to acknowledge the payment of 415 checks in the amount of $7,051,127.86.
Second.
All right, motion by Pollock, second by Veneman. All those in favor vote in the affirmative.
Aye.
Item 8, set next meeting date.
October 1st, isn't it that first Tuesday?
I don't have any conflicts on the first, Dean,
No, I'm good.
and I didn't hear anything from Patrick about his availability for a meeting next month, so as we traditionally hold them the first Tuesday of the month, we'll plan for the first.
Okay, 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
Okay.
All right, item 9, in open session, the committee may vote to go into closed session under section .85 Par 1 Par E of the Wisconsin statutes, which reads deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, investing in public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. In closed session, the committee will consider proposals for replacing outdated printers and implementing managed print services for the city.
Motion to go in closed session?
I'll second it.
Motion by Veneman, seconded by Pollock to go into closed session. All those in favor, vote in the affirmative.
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, thank you.
We will now enter closed session.
You wanna make the motion since you have the dollar number written down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, he's ready.
Beautiful.
All right, item 11, consider for approval a vendor for replacement of outdated printers and managed print services for the city. I'll make a motion to approve E.O. Johnson for a total of $48,999.27 to be the vendor to replace the outdated printers and managed print services for the city.
Second.
Motion by Catnoff, second by Veneman. All those in favor, vote in the affirmative.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Item 12, adjournment.
So moved.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.